Hey everybody, my name is Chris, part of the discipling culture here at New City Church, and just want to kind of give some clarity towards the mission, all right? It's been part of the lifestyle here at New City Church to always incorporate mission into your discipling culture, but I want to talk to you more on how, and maybe even more importantly on why, all right? So we know from Luke 6 that Jesus, he went to the top of the mountain, he prayed all night long, came down off of the mountain, chose his 12 disciples to walk with, and it said from there he took them and did ministry with them, all right? And if you watch the Gospels, like if you see them play out, you'll see Jesus sometimes give them direct orders, like when they're doing mission, like when the crowd is around them, you'll hear him say things like, no, you give them something to eat, right? Or you get in the boat, all right? Like you'll hear him say these things. And the reason this is in my mind is because Jesus' methods are ordained. And because he knew that these disciples were going to be his model or his vehicle on how the kingdom moved, then he had to make sure that they understood how mission worked, like that they could survive in the real world. Like he couldn't just download information to them and then leave. He had to download information to them and then let them play this out on a playground, all right? And so it's extremely important that your discipling group have some kind of mission, all right? Now, let me just kind of walk you through a couple things real fast before we get into what that looks like. I have watched mission cover up transformation, okay? And so what I mean by that is that people can get really busy serving and never actually having a heart transformation, like never actually hearing what is God saying to me and what am I going to do about it. Like I've watched that for years. And I'm telling you, it's a pitfall in discipling that can happen the same way. Like you can just say, hey, I'm going to start this mission, and then you can always be processing the mission and never be watching people's hearts transformed. They're just going to feel good about what they're doing, all right? And so here's what I would say. First step is like when you first start your discipling crew, transformation is more important, all right? It's more important, like their heart transforming is more important than mission, okay? And so at first, there needs to be a lot of what is God saying to me and what am I doing about it, more so than let's go do this, if that makes sense. Let's go do this needs to be incorporated, but not as important as their hearts being transformed. Sometimes it takes 3, 6, 9 months. I've even seen it take almost a year for a person's heart to transform. And here's what I would say is like until you watch their hearts transforming, mission can be something that just covers it up. And so the way that I like to do my discipling groups is I like to incorporate a little bit of mission here and there, but I'm really heavy on transforming their hearts. I'm really heavy on them being washed by the Word. I'm really heavy on them saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's God's Word. Here's my plan. And then watching them play that out and watching God's glory blow up in their life. Once I see that in all of them, then I start incorporating mission into the art of the culture here, okay? Now, let me just kind of give you a couple examples of how mission works, okay? Mission is the training ground to show, for them to show that what they're learning is working for them, all right? And so let me just give you an example. This crew that I'm walking with, about probably 6 months ago, we're still heavy into transformation. We're doing mission just kind of scattered here and there. We decided that one day we're going to replace the flower beds in front of the church, right? They're not owned by us. They're owned by the people that we rent the building from. So we show up. I get all the gear there. We dig holes. We do all this, okay? So their role is to bring somebody with them. Like that's their job. Like their role is to find somebody that they start liking and to bring somebody with them. I'm watching them to bring people of peace, okay? We show up at 6 o'clock at night. There's 6 in the crew. They all brought somebody with them, so now we got 12. And they just go to work. Like they just start busting it out, like digging holes, putting plants in, getting the water hose out, like pulling out mulch, putting new mulch in. Like they just go to work, all right? And there's enough room for about 8 people in that flower bed, and so 5 of them are just kind of standing around, people that we had invited in. And so I start just kind of walking around and making sure that they get talked to, and we go to debrief at the local McDonald's. We're just going to debrief, and one of the guys says, hey, how come are we always doing the work and you're not? And man, it was like one of the best discipling moments that I could come up with, because I said, that's a great question. Like, why are you guys doing the work and I'm walking around. And I was like, guys, the mission is never about actually finishing the job or completing the job or seeing how fast you can do the job. Like we replaced an entire flower bed in like 25 minutes. Something that could have taken us like 2 hours if we had been working with the people instead of just trying to get the job done. And so while we completed the job, while we got the task completed, we totally missed the forest for the trees because the people that we brought, we built no relationships with them. And had somebody not been walking around trying to build those relationships, it would have been a bust. So mission is not always just about the mission, right? The whole reason that we do mission is to build relationships to make more disciples, all right? So you got to shift your mind into this, all right? The whole reason that we do mission is to bring people along who we find hungry, that we find people of peace for here, so that we can make more disciples. Otherwise, we find ourselves just serving all the time. And somebody's got to finally ask the question, why are we just serving? Well, the only reason that we serve, the reason that we do mission, again, is to make more disciples. And if that doesn't become the focus, then we've kind of missed it. We've missed the whole thing. Now, just let's fast forward about a year, all right? Still walking with these same guys. About 8 months after this moment, all of their hearts had been transformed. Like the Lord had done His thing, like they had walked through some hard stuff. They had put God's word to it. All of their hearts had been transformed. And so guess what? We start mission even more imperatively now. And so now every other week we're going to the local mission and we're helping them get their thrift shop up. They're all bringing people of peace with them, all right? And so just like the other night, there's 6 in the group. We had probably 13 to 15 men that they had invited to go with us. And guess who's walking around making sure that everybody's building relationships? Not me. I'm on the paintbrush. I'm working hard. But the guys that I'm discipling are making sure that the guys that they brought, that they're heavily relational as they paint. And so we got to debrief that moment just yesterday, and he was like, man, I understand it now. I get it. And so here's what I would say to you is that, listen to me, mission is critical. Like you can't start a movement without the mission piece. If you remember, like it's Jesus is Lord, committed to discipling, working out of the APEST, mission. Okay? Mission is designed so that you will be able to make more disciples. Otherwise, you disciple these guys and they hit a wall and there's nothing left for them to do. And so, man, if I just can encourage you, it's like if you're discipling without mission, I really got to lean on you and say, man, you may not be discipling. Because I'm like, where's the training ground for them to play this out? Where are the people that's in their lives that they're trying this out on? All right? And so without that, man, listen, I'm encouraging you to be bold. I'm encouraging you to do hard things because you're investing your life into these men and women so that those men and women will reproduce what you showed them. And if you choose not to show them because you're afraid or scared, they'll do the same thing to the next crew. And so I just got to lean on you. Listen, know that you're deeply loved. But that's kind of in a handbasket how mission flies. Okay? All right, guys. Look forward to talking to you next time.